How it feels to uninstall the game I used to always rush home from school to play. Normal person. 7 plus 6 equals 13. Me. If 7 plus 7 equals 14, and 6 is 1 less than 7, then 7 plus 6 must be 13. When you are the only one raising your hand to answer the questions, and the teacher said, "Are there no other hands? Is he my only student?" So you just sit mysteriously and gain some insane aura points. Imagine if schools actually helped kids identify their strengths by exploring their talents from a young age and growing their skills over the 12 years, instead of letting them all follow the same routine like sheep and leaving them confused in life after graduation. Normal person. 7 plus 6 equals 13. Me. If 7 plus 7 is 14 and 6 is 1 less than 7, then 7 plus 6 must be 13. I think of myself as above the average person. My child isn't doing well in school. I will take away things they love. Why are they doing worse? Maybe I should take them away for longer. When you're writing an exam and you have picked B 4 times in a row and the next answer still looks like B. Me. How do I get a job? How do I pay taxes? How do I buy a new house? Schools. Well, actually. High school teachers. The bell doesn't dismiss you. I do. College professors. I don't really feel like teaching today, so class is cancelled. J. Robert Oppenheimer lectures at a Japanese school in 1959 in Q2. So this right here is how I evaporated 2 of your cities. What the author meant. What the teacher thinks he wanted to say. Physicists alike. To simplify calculations, we will assume the cat is cubical. Good students. Bad students. Students who convince the teacher to tell a personal story to waste class time. When your bed looks like this, either you're cooked or cooking. When your favorite teacher shouts at you for the first time. How I look at my teacher when they ask how's the work going, and I say we both stare at a blank page. The class of 2020 explaining how they raised their grade from a 53 to a 104 during the second semester. I just keep googling stuff and it keeps working. Teacher nourishes class for being loud. The students who were actually behaving. School. Why would video games do this? The teachers copy what they give you. Children must always wear a seatbelt, except if you put 50 of them in one vehicle. Parents, why are your grades so bad? Me. Student smuggles phone into exam, looks at memes instead of cheating. How lazy are you? Me. How teachers feel after winning arguments against sleep-deprived 14-year-olds at 9:46 in the morning. When you finish the exam, but the smart guy is still on the 4th question. You study and you pass. You don't study and you pass. You don't study and you don't pass. You study and you don't pass. When you choose an academically challenging degree and get academically challenged. This was the most annoying shut as a kid. 45 degrees in Fahrenheit. 45 degrees in Celsius. 45 degrees in math. Me. I need to be more sociable. Also me when I'm free. Teacher. Don't write on the tables. Kids in the back. Teacher. I'm going to leave the classroom for a while. Please be well behaved while I'm out. The class. What bro sends after he failed an exam. Everybody has to take the same test. Please climb that tree. 11 p.m. 2 a.m. 4 a.m. 8 minutes before my alarm. My brain when I study. My brain during an exam. Jorg washing machine. It's the last day of school, but your mom still wants you to have a good attendance record. Short answer. Number 5. 10 points. Provide an example of a risk. No. We are hitting intelligence levels that shouldn't even be possible. When you marry a mathematician. When I realize That the answer I was too scared to say in class was right after all. Me before going for physics exam. Me thinking about my dream job. Me studying for my dream job. Math teachers at the first day of school. We are 4 parallel universes behind the schedule. Me, may I use the bathroom? Teacher, why didn't you during lunch? The bathroom during lunch. Schools have a zero tolerance policy for bowling. Schools have a zero tolerance policy for bowling back. POV, when you choose an academically challenging degree and get academically challenged, send help. How my parents explained school to me, how it actually turned out. Getting nothing done. Having a sudden urge to fix your life at 2 AM. Getting nothing done. My friend doing weird shit and being loud. Me who just saw the teacher looking at us. POV, it's 3:23. Start studying right away. Wait for 3:30. Psychopaths. Sociopaths. Teachers who give a 69% on a test instead of a 70%. Me imagining myself rich, famous, and successful after I studied for 5 minutes. I have 2 problems in life. Difficulty sleeping. Difficulty waking up. 1980. Use brains, not calculators. 2000. You can use calculators, but don't use phones. 2020. You can use phones, but don't use AI. The answer is too small. Panic. You write for example. Calm. You don't have any examples. Panic. Seller. This computer is 10 times slower than your grandfather's Nokia. School. Invest. When you're playing cool math games, then feel a hand on your shoulder and hear, yeah, go ahead and log out for me, please. Doing algebra. Things start cancelling out. More things cancel out. X equals X. Teacher. Things she didn't explain during the lessons. Test. When teacher explains a topic. When my friend explains a topic. Art. Okay, which folder is for math? Me, red, because math is red. Art. What do you mean? Me, the subject of math is red. Art. What? Me, I really want to try hard and get good grades this term. Teacher, please read pages 45 to 51. Me, fully prepared for exam. Question number 1. Me, when I get home, I'm going to be so productive, do all my work, and get my life together. Me when I get home. Teacher, do you know the chemical formula of nitrogen monoxide? Me, no. Teacher, but, sit down. Me. Teacher, I'm not gonna teach this, you'll learn it next year. Next year. Teacher, I'm not going over this, because you should have learned it last year. Me in 5th grade. Me when someone is looking at me while I'm doing something. When I was in school, I was doing my French speaking exam, and I started crying cause I literally couldn't do it, and my French teacher said, "It's okay, you're not the worst." The girl before you answered the questions in English with a French accent, and I could not breathe. Oh my god. The class of 25 is so lucky because the year is 2025 and it's so aesthetically pleasing that they match. The maths teacher going from page 47 to 285 in one class. Parker. Me trying to study the entire portions in one night. They gave me 60 days to study. When someone did a better layout of the assignment than me. Duck. It's genius. Why didn't I think of that? Teacher, has everyone finished writing? Whole class, not yet. That one student, yes. Teacher erases board. Whole class. When you copy someone's work on a test, but change a few answers. You wrote an absolute masterpiece. Teacher gives a below average grade. POV, you just opened a bag of literally anything edible in class. I drew the weekend. Bro drew the month. Parents, too much screen time is not good. Me who is on the screen for multiple hours cause of assignments. When I take my sleep deprived days to school on a Tuesday morning and the teacher talks some shit on how to protect yourself from cyberbullying. Someone checked your browsing history. Calm. Someone checked your calculator's history. Panic. My English teacher, after yapping the whole period and giving us 2 minutes to write an essay. I can't. I cannot. I do not currently possess the ability to can. Me getting an A+ on a blood test I didn't study for. Me and my son doing his math homework. Make students enjoy their time at school. Make students have sleep deprivation and depression. School. Bell rings. Students, can we leave now? Teacher, I didn't hear no bell. Me going to start my 49 missing assignments. My brain after 5 seconds. I to my head out. How I feel when the exam be looking easier than I thought. Problems in your personal life. Choose a medical career. No personal life, no problems. At college, you can talk to someone all the time and still have no clue what their name is. I found treasure. $10,000. $100. Wait, what? When you get bored in physics class. I can't. I cannot. Henceforth, I'm unable to can. In the light of this predicament, I have come to the conclusion that I'm unable to perform the act of canning. Missing a week of math. Missing a week of English. The quiet girl in my group just absolutely roasted our professor cause he takes forever to grade. Samantha, did you get everything turned in? Everything is turned in. Based on current patterns, we should have feedback by late July. Me studying topics related to my course. Me studying topics that are unrelated to my course. This was supposed to be deep, but you failed math class. I'll be there for you. Tomorrow is math exam. Mom says if I pass 40%, she will give me $100. Dad says if I pass 40%, he will give me $240. Me realizing I can get $440 and buy a bicycle. Me walking into my maths class, knowing the only thing I can calculate is when the class ends. When you're supposed to have 7 classes today, but teacher is sick, so the last one gets cancelled. A blessing from the Lord. Make kids go to school. Teach them a lot of things that they won't need in life. Doctor, the disease is gone. Mother, that's great news. When will I see my healthy son? Doctor, I just told you that the disease is gone. Doc, you're kind like a honeybee. Little girl, why? Because I'm so sweet? Doc, no, because you're dying at an alarming rate. Why to pass exams when you can pass away? When the teacher stands next to your desk during a test. Bro has an alphabetical riz. Hello, I'm busy. A B C D E F G J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. Hi, sorry I'm busy. Me saying I'm bored as hell. The 5 assignments I ain't start yet. Math homework with dad. Teachers when boys talk. Teachers when girls talk. A student posts something negative about the school on social media. I'm going to call him into my office and call the police on him. The cops remind me that the First Amendment exists and arrest me for filing a false report. Why was I fired from my job? That part of the song. Who listens to music while studying? Going to college. Paying for college. Me opening my eyes to see I have 2 minutes left before my alarm clock goes off. My teacher left the room during a test, so we all started sharing answers. Then I looked up and she was staring right at me. When a student asks to go to the restroom, just seconds after their best friend. The professor complimenting my writing on a paper, me who cranked it out at midnight prior to the deadline. How chemistry teacher feels after teaching 4 proven wrong theories before teaching the actual one with 10 exceptions. Kids afraid to check their grades Adults afraid to check their bank accounts. University students afraid to check both. Types of headaches: migraine, hypertension, stress. 4 students are failing. They are in the same group. When you conveniently have 3 friends in your group project. When your professor makes a terrible joke, but you really need an A. Me after 5 minutes of studying. Which side are you on? Math is a red subject. Math is a blue subject. The homework due tomorrow. The guy who doesn't study. The one who doesn't need to study. The one that studies at 3 AM the night before. Chemistry exams. In this question, you'll have to divide 0.2003716 by 0.946472. Also, you can't use a calculator cause you're in India, and we don't allow that for some reason. Physics exams. There are no numbers in this exam, only variables and constants. Okay. Teacher, what is 117 plus 3? Me. 5. Teacher, yes, that is correct. Teacher, me. The homework I have on weekends. The weekends. The half term. The summer holidays. There's nothing faster than me. When you are doing a test and the nerd starts tweaking. Well, duck. How school thinks we will get a job. What's the powerhouse of the cell? Mitochondria. Good, you're hired. Job. When the 3.5 hours of sleep catch up with me, and the words on the page suddenly don't look like English. No one. 7-year-old me in class. When class is at 8 AM. Me in the morning. Is it already 8? Nopes. It's just 7:59. When your friends are arguing about whether the answer was 44 or 45, and your answer was South Africa. How was the online class? What did you get from it? Me. When your mom is chewing you out because you are so irresponsible and you remember you forgot your backpack at home. Study hard, human, so you can buy me lots of tuna. Teacher, has everyone done the homework? The kids at the back. The kids who didn't know there was homework. The kids who just could not be bothered doing it. The kid who spent all of last night doing it. The kid who is listening to music. The smart kid who completed it the day it was assigned. Me, who is doing the homework while the teacher is collecting it. Yes. When you're writing an exam and you have picked B 4 times in a row and the next answer still looks like B. Me in 8th grade. I can answer all of these though questions in 10 minutes. Me in 9th grade. What is tis question? Help. Me uploading a corrupted file instead of the essay, so I get a couple more days to finish. Quackerman. Choose the correct answer. You can't scare me with the, and explain why. Me overthinking how I said here during attendance. The voices in my head. Progress takes time. We don't have time. The entire class. The one person that asked for extra homework. Me leaving after I thought I ate the exam, but it ate me instead. The professor, after reading my answers in the exam. In every class, there is 3 types of students. The smart one who knows everything. Has no idea what's going on the whole time. Pretending to understand everything. When the bell rings and the teacher is still writing on the board. They all ask me what I did in the exam. But nobody asks me what the exam did to me. Teacher, why are you late? Me, heavy traffic. Teacher, is that my fault? Me, did I blame you? The whole class. Me, here's where I put my academic comeback. Me, only if I had any. Me after a long day of being funny. When your teacher walks by, so you pretend that you're working. Me, I'm going to study all night. 11 PM. 11:05 PM. Fire in school. Teacher, we have to leave in alphabetical order. The guy named Zach Zimmerman. In semester 2, I will work hard, attend all my classes, and not procrastinate on assignments. When you are taking a test, and the teacher starts explaining the questions to the student next to you. POV, me thinking about how tired I'm going to be tomorrow. People when you ask them how 7th grade was. Bell rings. Teacher, the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do. Bell, am I a joke to you? Employers. College students. How you market the position as entry level then require 2+ years of experience. Think Mark, think. Learning by playing video games. Learning with book. How my PhD started. How it's going now. When you've finished your exam an hour early and you're not allowed to leave. When you have like 6 assignments, 3 presentations, and 400 pages of reading, and someone asks if you're okay. Classwork. 2 + 2 = 4. Test, John had 3 apples and lost 1. Calculate the mass of the sun. What are the old elementary school homies up to nowadays? Me trying to remember the name of that boy I played with on the beach 18 years ago, who I thought was going to be my best friend, but never saw him again, so I can possibly reconnect with him on social media. Them, keep studying, you can sleep after this degree ends. Me. When you're in a group project, and the group leader says we are going to fail, when you're the one doing the work. Who is we? You speak in French? How graduation speakers feel writing a 40-minute speech filled with nothing but cliches and overused quotes. Me when I finally finish the assignment that has been destroying my life for weeks. My science high school professor. Scientific names are quite creative. Some scientific names. Gorilla gorilla gorilla. Caracal caracal. Lynx lynx lynx. Chinchilla chinchilla. Bison bison bison.